Welcome to the Podunk Polymath, a podcast dedicated to the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed up Southern SJW and skeptic. I'm your host, Chris. Come on in. This is episode 84 of the podcast that never gives up, even though you might not like it or not. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining me again. I know it's been a while since the last one. I never have posted a podcast version of it. I've just had a lot of shit going on. I'm really going to try to step things up, man, for all 20 of my listeners. So, anyway, without getting into too much of anything, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest. Of course, he's been on here several. I've been on his show several times. He's been on here a couple times. So, without further ado, I'm going to present to you Tucker Drake. Mr. Drake, how are you?
I'm doing. How about you?
All right. Yeah, so it's been a while since we conversed, I think.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to? The podcasting, your deal, or whatever.
Well, I've been about 5'11".
What?
5'11".
Okay, you're a funny guy. You're not a dad, are you? It's a dad joke. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying that before you were a candy bar in your daddy's back pocket.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so Tucker here. You've been steady going. I don't think you've stopped, have you?
Not in a long time. I've missed an episode or two here and there, but I haven't had a long gap in a couple of years. Just right now, alternating between bitching about the news and bitching about this obscure Gnostic gospel text that was rediscovered in the 18th century, and seems to primarily consist of Jesus talking about the goddess Sophia being trapped in the various astrological houses on her way to heaven, and people responding by quoting various scriptures about it. Jesus going, that's exactly what this means. And none of it makes any fucking sense. And the only thing that's really been interesting in it is the fact that, the gospel is set 10 years after the crucifixion.
Okay, we're going to have to come back to that. But let's kind of roll back to what we're going to start with. So out of nowhere, I got a Facebook message from Debbie Goddard, who, and I feel bad for this because I can't remember exactly, public affairs with American Atheist. I have to look exactly. I feel like a horrible person, but she's with an American Atheist, and she was looking to do some sort of podcasting thing in American Atheist convention this year, like a table or something.
Yeah.
And well, unlucky her. I'm apparently the only contact she has. So, oh, poor Debbie. So I was like, okay, I'm in. I mean, why not? It's in Cincy. I know people in Cincy. I've been up there a couple of times. So rang up a couple of people. Tucker, you're one of them. And we'll be kind of getting back together like the old team for the old road trip.
Yeah.
Like when we went to ReasonCon, when was it, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, well, yeah. It was 2017.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, so it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it's right at. I think about it, because it was in late April too. Of course, we know that our. Man, I feel that was a good one. I feel bad about that because that was the one everybody looked forward to.
Yeah.
So, but we have this now. So there's a couple other people I know. What's her?
Bridget Fitch.
Bridget Fitch. That's right. Yeah. From Holy Crap, the vlogcast, and I think there's somebody else I can't remember off the top of my head. But I threw out a couple because she got with me on short notice, so it's kind of hard for me to get in touch with anybody about it. So, and plus, it's in Cincy, and not everybody's that close. So.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll get other people. I don't know, but yeah, I've been looking at the speaker list. Not too bad. Looks like they're trying to shake things up a little bit. It's not all old white guys, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some people I saw. Jude Lane, who was at Skepticon, representing for Foundation Beyond Belief,
Yeah.
and a couple people I want to meet. Jeff Prebig, who is Pit Atheist, who did the updated logo for the show, and he does charity and stuff. He's a cool guy. He'll be there. And Susan Turpin, who's also on the show, and she's in Democratic thing in Texas. I forgot exactly what it's called, but she's into politics in Texas, and she'll be there. But probably a couple other people I failed to mention. But anyway, so what are your thoughts, Tucker, about the whole opportunity?
Well, I think it'll be interesting. I don't, I don't know anything really about their conventions because I haven't heard anything about them. I mean, ReasonCon, after the first one, you heard all about it. And then, of course, we were at the second and third ones, and those were pretty awesome. So, I mean, if it's half as good as ReasonCon 2 or 3, I'll be happy. And if it's as good as NanoCon, I'm going to be sorely disappointed.
Well, you know what? I feel like I'd be remiss. The only thing I'll say, I'm not going to get into it too much. I wasn't there for reasons. I won't get into why, but I heard it was a bit of a disappointment. There wasn't as many people.
No, there was not. I think part of the problem was that they didn't promote it this time around.
It's almost like they could have used somebody to promote it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, you never heard. I never heard any of the big atheist podcasts talk about it. I didn't hear it on Scathing Atheist say anything about it, or the Cog Disc guys.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. The leadership, or one particular person in leadership, apparently does not or has forgotten how they got on the map to begin with. And a lot of that had to do with podcasters.
Yeah.
Promoting them. And apparently he thought he could just do it on his own steam. Without promotion, I mean, most people who come to these things are atheist. Where do they find out? Podcasts, a lot of them. A lot of atheists listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I complained, and there's still nothing like it, that, there's you don't have a really good central source for finding out things that are interesting, that are, events. In theory, Facebook does that, but Facebook only shows you what they think you want to see, and they don't know what I want to see. But as I was reading an article one time, and it's what made me think about it. This Jane Goodall was doing a tour, a speaking tour, and it's like, okay, I'm not so interested in her that I want to follow her on social media, but if she was going to be close and giving a talk, I would love to go see that. But there's no way to find out unless you follow her. And there's all kinds of other, people who do things like that, I'm sure, that don't know fuck shit about, because there's nothing for it. I mean, Lanyard is supposed to be like that, but I signed up, and all the shit I got was, I literally said anything, in these categories within 200 miles, right? I was getting shit for Australia and Indonesia and things like that, in addition to stuff that may not have been local. And most of it wasn't even remotely connected to the choices I had selected. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? How is this useful?
Definitely something to look into. There's definitely a niche there for that kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, if I knew how to code.
You know people, man. You gotta just find the right people.
I
Give them
don't
beer.
know.
Give them decent beer. You never know. So I don't know. We're going to be up there. It actually starts Thursday afternoon, but there's no way in hell we're going to be there.
No.
Friday, I want to leave as early as possible because I think registration's at 8:30. There's no way we're getting there that early, but
No. No.
I'm hoping to get there by 10:30 maybe. I want to leave early so I can get as much shit as I can because ReasonCon shit didn't really get started until the afternoon anyway.
Yeah.
So, but this is a little different. It's like a full 3 days, so
Yeah.
we should be there Friday before noon for sure.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're gonna. I don't know anything. What apparently this is a new thing, so I have no idea. All the logistics and all that shit we're just gonna have to figure out on the fly, which is exciting and fucking terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
As most new endeavors usually are.
Yes. Somebody sounds
So,
upset.
if this fucking cat, just as I should have warned everybody. And well, shit, if you don't know anything about the fucking podcast, I have 15 fucking cats. Not literally. There's 4 now. But
Well, I
they're
got
gonna.
one.
Yeah, there's is that Professor Fuzznuts?
Yeah, that's him.
All right. Well, all the various ones are laying around. Cal being the senior, Callie being the senior queen.
Yeah.
Sandy's one can't shut up. Lillian is laying on the floor, and I don't know where Circe is, which is the youngin. So anyway, yeah, it should be interesting. I didn't see a schedule as such yet, as far as. Okay, I hear you. Um, I don't know. Just something we're gonna have to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, for everybody, I mean, if you don't keep track of American Atheists, obviously, you wouldn't know that they switched out Dave Silverman, who apparently displayed some problematic behavior in the past. So that kind of got him to getting kicked out. And they put some guy named Fish. I don't know who this guy is. Nick Fish, I think his name is.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. Apparently, I guess they maybe just want to get somebody that just to kind of calm things down. Maybe I don't know because Silverman was really outspoken.
Yeah. Yeah.
But regardless, it should be interesting. Hopefully. So if you're in the Cincy area, or if you're coming down for the conference, or you're bored and want to blow $200 some odd, come on down, check us out at the old table. I don't know where, I don't know when, but god damn it, we'll be there. Message me or Tucker or somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Because her email that I'm looking at it right now, it doesn't give any details as to where.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
I think she's just gonna set up a table and point.
Yeah.
Over there or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should have told everybody when the fuck it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Easter weekend. Well, Good Friday through Easter, and anybody who's aware of, that's the way they always do it. It's on the Easter weekend or whatever. Like poking fun at Jesus, I guess, whatever. But yeah, it'll be Easter the weekend. So if you're not over there coloring eggs or dyeing eggs or whatever, or smoking weed on 420, of course you could do that too. There's no keeping you from doing both things at the same time. So.
That reminds me. I know Ohio has legalized medical marijuana. I think they're either pushing for full legalization or they've legalized it.
Ohio?
Yes.
Legalized. Well, maybe medicinal. I hadn't heard. I'm pretty sure I'd have heard of. In any event, nobody's. I mean, get a vape. Nobody gives a shit anymore.
Yeah, they've the. Let's see here. Yeah, it's that their medical has been approved already. and they have now this year it's supposed to be on the ballot to recreational.
Well, that would be interesting. I'd be going up to Cincinnati a little more.
Yeah, I'd be going home to visit mom.
So that'd be interesting. Yeah. So another reason, get sick. Oh, I'm not feeling too good. My back's hurting.
Yeah.
Maybe get you a little therapy or something. Let's see what else. I guess that's really about it. Nanocon sucked. We're going to American Atheist. And that's about it. So of course that was the main reason, but I also think it's funny that every time I bring up AOC on the old Facebook, you apparently get a virtual boner. So,
hey,
which I think is funny. But no, I mean I do think she just came out of nowhere. I mean, because she was running in Brooklyn in that whatever district it was, she was running against some longtime incumbent. And it was whoever came out of the Democratic primary was going to win because it's a Democratic district. But somehow she pulled it out.
Yeah. Well, most people don't know this, interned in Ted Kennedy's Senate office.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, she took second place at the Intel Science Fair thing. She went to Boston College on a scholarship of some sort. She's no dummy by any stretch of the imagination. And she, it was like the last couple of years of Kennedy's life, she was an intern in his office. So she knew people.
Well, that's always good.
Well, yeah. I mean, you think about it, forget that, he was Democratic Party royalty. Just the fact that he was one of the longest serving senators at the time of his death, he had contacts everywhere. And she would have rubbed elbows with the best and the brightest in Washington. And so when she got elected, she would have known who to call.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, and you've seen it kind of come to light. I mean, a lot of people already knew this. The way they back the DCCC, tries to back incumbents, but always tries to fucking, it seems like, sabotage anybody who tries to challenge them.
Yeah.
So even like what you're saying, even if you knew people, they're not likely to help you. The Democratic Party is not backing your campaign. It makes it a uphill climb.
But she's she's shown she knows how to play ball. I mean, because the press started that whole thing about her and Pelosi having had an acrimonious meeting, and she came, oh no, we had a good discussion. She knows how to play that game. I mean, I honestly have a feeling that she's Frank Underwood with empathy and tits. House of Cards.
Yeah, I know, but okay. If you take away the psychopathy, then you don't have Frank Underwood. So that kind of.
But no, because you can and somebody who has empathy can understand how a psychopath would operate. They just wouldn't do that.
It's true, I guess. We'll see.
But I mean, well, you saw her questioning Michael Cohen, didn't you?
Who didn't? It was beautiful.
But you see what what she did with all that. She got them justification to subpoena his tax returns and his bank records. And the way she did it, they don't go to Trump for those things. They go to the IRS. and the bank.
Right.
If they do that, then Trump can't pull. Well, he can pull, but he has no hope of effectively citing executive privilege to block those. And the bank is going to want to turn the records over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's Deutsche Bank and they're already in all kinds of trouble. So they'll happily hand them over. And that's where it gets really interesting because, you know, whatever he may have done to get elected, that's illegal. There's all kinds of other stuff that he did with his finances that's illegal, and he's been covering up, and this blows the lid off of it. It also it's going to put the bank in an awkward place because they're be looking at the bank going, you're supposed to have things in place to detect these actions, which clearly indicate money laundering going on. Why don't you have those? Why didn't they trigger an investigation? Why wasn't this reported to us? So, I mean, it's entirely possible, assuming, of course, Trump is dirty, which, spoiler alert, he fucking is. She's got him because of this, and she's got the banking industry. Both things she wants. And Pelosi put her on the finance committee in the House, which is a powerful committee.
Yeah, I don't know, the banking industry thing, you're never gonna. They've got too much entrenched power, and they just keep getting the regulations loosened. I mean, they didn't even get good enough regulations after the 2008 crash, and so that's going to happen again. But as far as the Trump thing goes, yeah, I mean, I like those strategies she used to get all this shit out of the information. I mean, you can tell. I mean, she's only 30 something.
No, she's 29.
Wait, she's 29. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, shit, and for her to already have this kind of, I mean, she's jumping right in, just like she's right in it already.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the experience she picked up, being a clerk or an intern for Kennedy. She probably learned how things went, ran in D.C. Of course, she had to be a quick study to pick up on it and be as effective as she is. But that's, she's definitely well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and another thing that's hilarious to me is the way she handles herself on Twitter is fantabulous. And the way she tweaks, oh man, Fox News can't take it.
Yeah. Well, you ever listen to George Carlin's early stuff?
I don't think so. No,
because he talks about where the kind of neighborhood he grew up in, and he says a lot of people have rules about their put down fights that they would have, like no mothers. He says neighborhood he grew up in, they started out with your mother if they liked you. And she grew up in that kind of neighborhood. I don't think they grew up in the same area in New York, but she grew up in New York, so she's got the razor sharp wit and comeback, because that's the kind of environment she grew up in, where they put you down, you had to put them down, twice as hard if you wanted to shut them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great. I mean, she's the first person I've seen, I think, that has been able to really just not only kind of put down the person, but also just kind of point out how they're wrong without being not seeming terribly, I don't know, like she's a know-it-all almost, even though she is.
Yeah.
But the way she takes down these old white dudes who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, You know, it's just fucking. It's great to me. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that in itself is an enjoyment to me. Is seeing those takedowns on Twitter.
Yeah. She's a master at that. And I don't know if you've noticed this. I've talked to other people and they noticed it, because the only time I had followed her on Twitter, think during her primary, might have been after she won her primary, but I followed her on Twitter around that time, and I read articles on her, but I never heard her speak until, like, I saw a clip of her. Somehow I saw a clip of her on Fox being interviewed by Fox, and she had a really high-pitched voice, squeaky, and I was like, not Fran Drescher nasally, but that high of voice, and I'm like, well, that kind of, was sort of an accent there. And then I saw the clip of her on, C-SPAN when she was interviewing Cohen, and I'm like, oh, she sounds a lot different. I think maybe Fox is pitch shifting her voice up to, because to make it sound annoying. And I mentioned it to other people, and they were all like, who'd seen, stuff from her on Fox and the C-SPAN clip, and they all said the same thing, that, yeah, her voice was definitely lower. Whether or not she talks lower in Congress than she does casually, like in an interview, or Fox is playing with shit, I don't know, but Fox does play with shit. We know that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. They do everything they can to make her look bad, but they're just giving her free publicity. Is what
yeah. Well, they're making the same mistake that the networks made with Trump.
Yeah, that's true. Except in this case, it's somebody we like, but it's still,
Yeah.
But we can see the flip side of what happened with that. Obviously,
yeah,
the fuckers in office.
Yeah. Thank you, all 100 million Americans who couldn't be ours to fucking vote.
Yeah, that was the big thing. That's still. Don't get me started. Jesus Christ. So yeah, we've seen the rise of AOC. Did you see the little speech or her home Green New Deal thing? Right.
Yeah.
So, which of course the Republicans can't stand, and Pelosi is dismissive of. I think, or she acts that way.
Well,
So,
Dianne Feinstein is certainly dismisses of.
Can she just go away?
Yeah.
She's close to death. Can she just die? I know I'm a horrible person, right? I'm not saying by kill her. I'm just saying let nature take its course.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, she's 82 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, she's old. I'll tell you what. There's a dollop on her.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go listen to that and see how much you like her after that one. But anyway.
Yeah.
I won't give you the spoiler. I won't give spoilers. It's pretty bad. So yeah, she gave a speech because McConnell's turtle ass decided he was going to bring it on the Senate floor just for it's a stunt because there's no way it was going to pass. He just wanted there to be people on the record, I guess, to embarrass them. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But she gave a speech. And I'm telling you, man, she knows how to give a speech about shit, and she's impassioned. This is what we need, man. This kind of millennial, whatever you want to call them.
Well, if you remember in The True Believer by Eric Hoffer, he described somebody very much like her as being the kind of person who could lead a mass movement in America.
It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be this generation too. these new faces we've seen come in the House of Representatives. Jesus, we got like the Native American woman. That's never happened. We got two Muslims.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar, of course, she ain't fucking around either when it
No.
comes to APAC and Palestine and shit.
No.
And of course, you don't dare say anything against APAC or you're a fucking anti-Semite.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And that really needs to be discussed, and something needs to be done, with lobbying in general, but specifically APAC, in the sense that you can't even criticize something about them without it just going apeshit. Well, like the whole people saying, well, we're not happy with how Israel's treating the Palestinians, so let's boycott Israel, and they're trying to ban that.
Yeah, a lot of states are trying to make it where
you have to. Yeah, and it's like, well, look, whatever reason a person has for not buying a product from a certain company, that should be their right to not do that if they don't want to.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. I mean, even Tennessee's trying to get in the act. It ain't going to go anywhere, but it's the same kind of. What can you even do? You can't make people. There was where was it? It was a private school somewhere in, I want to say Georgia or somewhere where one of the things was you had to agree that you were against the BDS movement or something.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to sign that. I guess they fired her. And it wasn't, just a recent thing apparently.
Yeah.
They put on there, and she was trying to renew her contract, I think.
Yeah.
And she sued over it. I mean, of course, it's a private institution, but still, you claim discrimination, which it is. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. There's a difference. Apparently, people can't see the difference between anti-Israeli policy and anti-Semitism.
Yeah. It's ludicrous, because if you were to suggest, making it, illegal to boycott Disney, for example, the Republicans would be like, no, wait a minute, they own ABC, they're liberal media, we should be able to boycott them all we want.
Yeah, Lord, it's craziness. So anyway, AOC, yeah. So I think we're gonna see more things. People realize, like you said, she's only 29, and she needs to stay there for a while. I don't like this trend of people getting in and then quickly wanting to go. Stay in there for a while, man. You do more good, as far as I'm concerned, if you're in Congress than being the president.
Well, you want them in there for a certain period of time, long enough so that they learn the ropes and everything like that, but not so long that they, become just another cog in the machine.
Yeah, that's a fine line, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess we can game out kind of the Democratic, kind of the early people who have already announced for the nomination or whatever, which is ridiculously long.
Yeah, it's like 20 people now.
Yeah, the kind of the same thing happened for this last time when Trump won.
Right.
A lot of fucking people, and I don't know what's going to happen, man. There's just too many.
I thought that myself until just the other day. And then I realized something. If hypothetically you had Sanders running, you had Buttigieg running, You had, let's see here, Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard running. All the media would be talking about would be Harris, Gabbard, and Sanders. You wouldn't hear anything about Buttigieg. And with there being all these candidates in running, the media is going to spend more time talking about the Democrats running for office and what they're talking about than they are the Republicans, since, well, you know, unless somebody actually decides to primary Trump, there's not going to be any contest there.
I heard people making noises, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, there's always noisemakers, but it rarely happens. So, and that's, you know, because Trump got like twice as much coverage as anybody else in the 2016 election. And that's, you know, that's what got him the votes, basically, because you have all these low information voters who, you know, a week or a day or two before the election, you know, well, who's everybody talking about? Who's everybody talking about? Trump? Okay, I'll vote for him. So when you have a field of 20, they start throwing out different things, and those start circulating in the media, and boom, ideas that wouldn't otherwise be considered are now being talked about. I mean, you've got Andrew Yang, who's pushing for universal basic income, amongst other things, because he's like, you know, automation's coming and pretty soon everybody's going to be out of a job. And then what are we going to do? You've got Buttigieg, who has, you know, he's garnered attention simply because, for, you know, no other reason than he learned to read Norwegian because he liked a book by somebody who was Norwegian, and there was only one version of their book in English. So everything else that they written that he wanted to read, he had to learn Norwegian to do it. That's, you know, that's impressed a lot of people. Tulsi Gabbard's not getting much airtime, but she's, you know, she's weird. She's
yeah, I'm not big on her.
No, Elizabeth Warren got some attention when she first came out. Beto O'Rourke is getting lots of attention.
Jesus, this fucking guy.
Just... Yeah. Biden's getting attention even though he hasn't said he's running.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons. Obviously.
Yeah. No, they're for the right reasons.
Not the way he went, yeah.
Yeah, but he, you know, he's one of these people who is really good at, you know, the back end of politics, but the front end,
he's always, yeah, he's horrible. I don't know why he's gaffe prone as fuck. He just can't shut up. He says the stupidest things.
Yeah, but I have no issue with his "this is a big fucking deal" comment when they signed Obamacare into law.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, yeah, you're right. He's one of those guys you wouldn't mind having around, you know, just throwing, you know, shooting the shit, but he's not the kind of guy you want as the face of a fucking party. Come on.
No. You don't want him.
He needs to sit his ass down. He's had his day as far as I'm concerned. And that goes for a lot of these old dudes, these white dudes. I mean, I'm sorry. It's the time for the old white dudes is over, man, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not real happy with Beto. I've just, dude, you hadn't even won a statewide election. You won, like, he was, like, in the House for, like, how long?
Wasn't too terribly long. Because he's 40s, so you know, and he certainly he didn't break any records getting elected to the House like Alexandria
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez did. So he, I think he was maybe 2-3 terms. I don't think it was longer than that. I could be mistaken, but it wasn't, a decades long career, which, you want somebody who's got some experience, but again, not so much experience that they're jaded and are just, part of the machine. They can remember what it's like to be an ordinary person.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess this whole trend of just it's basically voting for celebrities. And man, you just gotta stop. Shit never turns out well. I mean, what happens? I mean, this country is celebrity obsessed. We just fucking voted for fucking a reality TV star. You want to vote for another fucking sizzle no steak? I mean, come on.
Well, did you ever see the original 1979 or 1980 TV series Connections, hosted by James Burke on PBS?
No.
They did 2 spin-off series on the Discovery Channel. There was Connections 2 and Connections 3. But the last episode of the first Connection series, it's like 1979, 1980. He's describing what kind of a future we're facing. And he says, if we don't address certain issues now, we're going to be electing people based not on their abilities, but on them being a celebrity. Amongst other things, it's because I rewatched the series a couple of years ago because it was on YouTube. So hey, because it's one of those series that it showed up on PBS and you saw it when you were a kid, and then it never reappeared anywhere else. And I remembered a lot of stuff about it, and so I found it on YouTube and I rewatched it, and and I'm sitting there at the last episode and he's talking about this is the future that we're facing, and I'm like, oh my God, he knew what the hell he was talking about. And that was 40 years ago almost.
Yeah, but we've always been a celebrity obsessed culture, I think. Well, at least since the dawn of Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah, but not to the extent that we are now. And you had, at least with in the past, until Reagan, the celebrities tended to stay in their own lane. In other words, they didn't run for political office for the most part. But Reagan was the first. I think he was the first to do that. One of the first, that's for sure.
Well, one of the most notable, anyway.
Yeah.
And it's, oh God, he's just the start of so many bad things.
There was in the early 90s, they did a 25th anniversary special for the TV series Laugh-In. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah, I think I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but you've probably seen bits of it, like "Suck It To Me" and yeah. So they were showing all these clips from the show where they're making fun of the idea of Ronald Reagan being president, and and me and my friends were watching it. We're all just looking at each other and we're going, this was probably a lot funnier before you lived through him being president.
Well, yeah, if you remember, Back to the Future, and Marty tells Doc that the president is Ronald Reagan, and he's like, yeah, right. Who's the vice president? I forgot.
Bubbles the chimp.
Yeah, or some shit.
Or Bonzo the chimp. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was some actor or something.
Yeah.
Because the whole concept of it was just so bizarre, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. So do you have? Of course, it's kind of far out, but do you have somebody that you're keeping your eye on? Somebody you?
Well, I like Warren because I've followed her career since she was the one who set up the consumer protection, safety, whatever the
Yeah.
agency is. I've followed her since then, and I like what she has to say. She's a smart, well-educated woman, and she could handle herself quite well in a debate with Trump. And I know I'll catch shit for this, but you know, while I don't think, well, he would not be my preferred choice for president. You know, I've known about Bernie Sanders for 20 years or so now. And he, you know, when they say he's been consistent in his message, they're not kidding. He has been. Because I have a friend who lives in Maine, and he, you know, he's a card-carrying communist, literally a card-carrying. He's a member of the Communist Party of the USA, and he, you know, on his Facebook page, he's always, you know, as soon as he and I reconnected on Facebook, you know, he was, you know, I'd see him putting stuff up about, you know, Sanders said this, Sanders said that. And this was before, you know, I think it's 2007 or so, maybe before that. But he, yeah, he's, you know, Sanders is consistent, and he's got a lot of good ideas. But, you know, it would be better if somebody other than him was president.
Well, I feel like we're kind of honestly on this, because I've been looking. I like Warren a lot for about the same reasons, really. Because I remember she was actually in a documentary, and I can't remember which one it was. She was talking about how, you know, the whole idea of businesses, corporations taking control and being able to get away with shit. You know, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I think that's right. Did I say it right? I don't know. But I was somewhere on something else talking about. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a Michael Moore movie. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So, and of course, the whole Pocahontas thing. That was. You can say, oh well, she's gonna have a problem because of that. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, when that's a rallying cry to me, because it's like what happened with Hillary when they called her a nasty woman or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and you notice that they haven't done anything with that. You know, even when her name is brought up, they don't say anything about Pocahontas anymore.
Well, and the whole thing, she shouldn't have done the whole
DNA test.
Yeah, that was stupid. But I mean, okay, she fucked that up. Okay, but are we really going to base everything on that one screw up? I mean, she's had a pretty consistent track record of standing up up against corporations. Now, I don't really, to be honest, I don't know any of her stands on other issues, to be honest with you. She's generally considered progressive. I feel like, of course, if we get closer, and she's still there, then that's something that we should probably take a look at. But
yeah, she's she's what I would call a center progressive. In other words, she's not as far to the left as, say, AOC, but she's not as far to the right as, like, say, Joe Biden.
Yeah, we're not going to get a leftist. I mean, you can just give that, at least not right now. I mean, it's still not time yet. I mean, the furthest left, Jesus, in this field, shit, I keep forgetting how many people there are even fucking in it now. I don't even know who is the furthest left of the field. That I don't even know.
Hang on, somebody's being bad. He has to talk to Mr. Squirt Bottle. Let me. I think. Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I would say Bernie Sanders is probably the furthest left.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's left. I don't know. He's old left.
Well,
I don't know.
well, he's
I
uh,
just mean, I guess I meant somebody a little more attuned to.
yeah. Um, but I'm scrolling through a thread here where somebody's uh, compiled a bunch of different ones. It's not really in any kind of order, but Sanders is the farthest left. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard talks a good game, but you start poking around in her
No,
politics, and
yeah,
she's not left at all.
nope.
Um,
She's out.
yeah. Uh,
I think you're probably right. I really can't think of anybody as far as policies go. Um, I mean, obviously, I'm going to vote for whoever the nominee is. And if you're one of these, man, look, you're not going to get a third party. Now, they keep talking about the Electoral College being gotten rid of. Okay, that's fine. That's not going to change. And I've also heard that, well, we need to think about, okay, get rid of the Electoral College maybe, but also, like in France, I think it is, they have like 2 rounds or something.
yeah.
Some
Well,
states have this where
yeah.
like a bunch of people run and then the top two go to a runoff or something.
Yeah, well, and Maine is doing ranked choice voting.
That too. Yeah.
Um, well, if we get rid of the electoral college, that opens up a lot of different possibilities because it you may not get a third party, uh, but we wouldn't end up like we did in 2000 and 2016 with a
Yeah,
Republican in office. We'd still have a Democrat.
yeah, because the vote count. I mean, what they won the popular vote pretty handily this time. I mean, way more even this time
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, 3 million votes. Uh,
Yeah, so I mean that's not a small number.
right. And there's an effort amongst the states since they're
Yeah,
like, we'll never get rid of it. So we'll do, they're planning on adopting, I forget it's what they call it, but it's a compact where the states
yeah.
say, okay,
So,
we get enough states to sign on to this, then we'll just require our electoral college selectors to vote for whom won the popular vote.
yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting idea. And of course, if you get enough states to sign on, then it's going to really put pressure on other states to do it as well. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
also. Go ahead.
Well, and there's, um, I forget where they're at now, but they're inching closer. The problem is they've got the big, the big states that are liberal, like California and New York, to sign on, but they need either a whole bunch of the little states to sign on, or somebody like Texas that's got a bunch of electoral votes, but they're Republican and they're being ran by nut jobs right now. So it's gonna be a bit of a slow climb for a while.
Yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon, especially the red states. They know they got it good because they know they've been losing the fucking popular vote. Why the
Yeah,
fuck would they want to change it? You know. So to me, what the compact thing's a good idea. Some states are doing because most states are all or nothing. Some states do proportional voting,
yeah,
whatever it's called. You can get so many electoral votes depending upon how many votes you get.
yeah. They'll split the state.
That to me sounds more like a viable kind of a more what I would call a middle ground option because it's within the current format they're already in. So that's not you can do that state by state. Now, of course, again, state by state. We can't. Federal is not going to fucking happen anytime soon. As long as they got fucking red states not wanting to get in on it. So I mean, to me, that's going to be the closest we can get.
Well, there's a lot of change coming. I mean, the boomers are finally starting to die off.
Yeah, I know. Hope it's not too late before the planet fucking, all the flooding and the fucking tornadoes and drought and everything. It probably is. We're probably fucked anyway.
Well,
here.
I've been following global warming for quite some time now, and the thing I've noticed is that, if you go back to the early projections, from like the late 80s, and they're saying, well, here's the worst case scenario, and then you jump forward a few years, you'll notice that they're going, okay, our best case scenario is this, and that's that old worst case scenario. And it's, because we've not done anything. And if you talk to people who are, well versed in climatology, they'll all say the same thing. All the papers are understating the issue because, the papers have to present the data, but the researchers have been studying the data for years, and they know what the trends are. So even though they don't have the data yet on things, they know that, the trends are showing a definite acceleration, and they're going, it's worse than what we can tell you because the data isn't there, but our experience with how the data moves tells us that it's worse.
Fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. Get your swimsuits ready, y'all. And your fire hazard outfits, because you're going to be burning or drowning, one or the other. Well, it looks like the time just ran right by. I wasn't even paying attention. So I guess we're going to go ahead and shut things down now. Tucker, why don't you tell everybody where you can find your show?
Well, the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast is available where all finer podcasts are. So just plug it into your favorite podcatcher, and I'll pop right on up, and you can listen to me bitch about the news, bitch at Fuzznuts, or me and a Canadian bus driver bitch about this fucked up.
Yeah, who do you got on there now?
It's a guy it goes by the name of Skullbeard. He followed me on Twitter, and one day he messaged me and says, "Hey, you want some help reading the religious stuff?" And I'm like, Yeah, I do. I really do. And he's been on there. Yeah, it's probably almost a year now. We've gone through the Apocrypha. We've gone through the the Rastafarian Apocrypha.
Jesus.
That was a nightmare. And now we're doing the Pistis Sophia, which.
Well, you're killing me, man. This takes a lot of alcohol to get through that shit. That's a lot of alcohol.
It's a lot of something, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so go on, Mosey. That sounds interesting. So yeah, if you want to hear about that kind of esoteric but still pretty interesting shit, I'd say go over and check him out, Tucker out. Before we went, I did want to mention, and I wasn't on air when this happened, but Deborah McTaggart is passing. I kind of wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
How long ago how long has it been now? Like a month or two?
Oh, it's been more than that, man.
Yeah. That's hard. Yeah, I don't know, but that was fucked up. I mean, nobody expects shit like that to happen. People you've met, especially when they're your age. We're not that old. Oh, I'm not that old. She's my age. You're fucking old as dirt, but yeah. She just died. I mean, I guess if you're gonna go, I guess that's a good way to. I mean, die in your sleep, I guess.
Yeah. But that was, and that was the thing about NanoCon this year. In the past, hey, I'd hang out with Deb. you know, and she wasn't there to hang out with.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to be too trite about it, but it does kind of remind you of mortality and stuff. I mean, I know that I had a funeral I went to not too long ago, and his mom's cousin, and she's about mom's age, a little older. And so, that kind of starts when your parents are dying.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
makes things a little more, you know, real.
yeah. Well, I mean, my dad died last year, and then my only nephew committed suicide last year.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. That's horrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that was within a couple of months of one another.
Yeah, that's just you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that cheery note, I want to remind everybody that if you go into American Atheist convention in Cincinnati, which is the 18th through technically, I guess, is that right? 20th is Easter. So technically it's 17th through 20th, I think. Because Thursday they're starting it, but I don't know what they're even doing on Thursday. The big stuff starts on Friday, I think. So pretty much Friday, Good Friday, Saturday, and then Easter. Does Saturday have a day, like a name?
It's no.
That's interesting. It seems like Saturday, you got Friday and Sunday. Should Saturday be Easter Eve or, I don't know, something?
Yeah. Well, remember, it's Easter is the pagan fuck festival. So they're not gonna they're not gonna make too big a deal out of it because.
All right. Well, Tucker, thanks again for coming on. I'm glad to talk to you again, and I'm looking forward to the road trip.
Yep.
I'm not looking forward to the fucking horrible dad jokes, I have to tell you. I'll deal.
You read my mind.
All right, man. We'll take it easy.
All right.
Bye.